been so long since I've done a YouTube video, I forgot how many takes it really takes to get this going, to get this out. Okay. Hi, my dears. My name is Kim Darling. It has been a while since I've posted on this channel. I'm excited about this one that I have for y'all. Yeah, so I hope you like the new setup. If you've been wondering where I've been making music for the last 5 years. So if you like music like Melanie Martinez, Florence and the Machine, Lady Gaga, please check out my sister channel, Somber Mercy. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into this. For those of you that are new here who have never seen any of my content before, I make videos on primarily Lolita and other types of fashion. And I also do some how-tos. So I do some sewing tutorials and things like that. And I wanna move more in that direction because I am really into the sustainability movement. I got into a local one in my area and it really inspired me. So for those that don't know who I am, my name's Kim Darling. I have been sewing for over 20 years. I have also been cosplaying for about 10 years. And I owned a dress business for about 5 years where I made girls custom dresses I designed, and I also did quite a lot of alterations. So you could say I know a thing or two about design. Today I'm going to be giving you a bit of a unique, different take on the Blogilates line than other videos that you might have seen talking about this series. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Blogilates line, this is a collaboration that was done with Target by Cassey Ho, who owns the Popflex brand. The reason why I was particularly drawn to this is because I have been really taking a new look at my wardrobe over the last few years, and I realized I have a lot of pieces like this. They're cute, they're very loud, they're very statement-y. I love it because to me, it does really help me express my more eccentric personality that likes to dress a little bit more high fashion, avant-garde, a little bit weird. But on the flip side, I realized because of this, I have a massive hole in my wardrobe. I basically looked at everything I owned and realized that on a casual day, if I'm not going out anywhere, or if I'm working out, I can't be running around and stuff like this. I decided it was finally time to tackle the genre of clothing I hate the most, which is athletic wear. Years ago, I did have athletic wear. Over the course of those years, I decided all of it was ugly, and I have gotten rid of almost all of my athletic wear. I've been introduced to Cassey's work about 2 years ago when I ran across her on YouTube, and that Ballerina Skort video, that tiered Skort, ooh, I had that on my wish list for a long time. So when I heard about this new collaboration that dropped at Target, I was beyond excited. And yeah, that's because I find most athletic wear and even athleisure to be pretty ugly. Most of the colors are nothing that I would wear. I'm not someone who likes to wear a ton of solid blacks or solid colors in general. And I don't like wearing grays or very saturated neon colors. And I understand that a lot of this is because athletic wear is made for people who probably want to go outside and run, and so being able to wear bright colors is useful for that. That's not really the way I work out. I do more low impact exercises, so I really need stuff that works for low impact. So I like to do a lot of swimming, skating, yoga, dancing, and weightlifting. And I actually thought that this line was pretty good for those things. So keep that in mind when I'm talking about this review, that my bias is going to be more towards how it's useful for low impact. If you do high impact exercise, then this might not be the kind of review that's helpful. I will make some notes though. I will talk about some things that I have seen other people mention were good for more high impact workouts. In general, the overall consensus does seem to be that Popflex is better for high impact. So I would probably say to check out Cassey's mainline if that's something you're looking for. The reason why I was also drawn to this is because it was a very romantic line. It's very beautiful. And I wanted to be able to wear things that would integrate into my wardrobe really nicely and not look like they're sticking out like a sore thumb. First up, we're going to start with what worked. These items are going to be the items that I thought were really well done in Cassey's series, the hits. And not just I thought this, other people also thought this too. At the same time, I do not share the same opinion as everyone else about every item in this line. Particularly the marshmallow hoodie was a big time favorite. Oversized hoodies, oversized fits in general, are not typically something that I like to wear. So I'm going to be a little biased on that front. Even though it was a hit, it was a success, I didn't purchase one. I didn't even manage to get my peepers on one when I was in the store because they were gone by the time I got there. So I have to just take people's word for it that it was pretty good from the reviews I saw. The determining factors for what I thought was a hit in Cassey's series is the construction of the pieces, the overall fit, and then also the comfort level of the items as well. As a whole, I want to say for this entire line before we get into it, I really loved a lot of the cuts that Cassey had chosen. Even if I'm not a fan of oversized, she still managed to find a way to make it work and kind of got me to dip my toe into trying some oversized looks. The other thing that I thought worked really well was the color choices. The colors are a lot more muted and soft. If you're a fan of more of like dusty colors, like a dusty blue, dusty pinks, this is going to be for you. I've heard the Popflex line, comparatively speaking, is a little bit more saturated, so that actually made me breathe a big sigh of relief, on top of the fact that the price point is much more suited for me to go with the Target line. I like more of a Rococo look, and I felt like the line really reflected that. They're muted enough that you can blend neutrals in with them really well and they look good. So in terms of the tops, I actually didn't buy any tops from the Blogilates line. And I did try them on. I got to try on most of them. My reason for not buying them was partially because of my size and my rib cage and my bust and things like that. It's not really a critique on the design or the quality. It was just a fit issue. For me, I have an hourglass shape and a small bust, and the tops were beautiful, but when I put them on, they were tight in the bust. I tried on both the small and the extra small, but then they were loose at the waist. It just looked like kind of lumpy and awkward on me. And then to top it all off, they have a built-in shelf bra, and I personally felt the elastic to be a bit tight. I've heard other people say that the elastic was not strong enough. Once again, that's probably more of a critique for high impact. The item that I did here was a hit for high impact. The one that was very hard to find was the Cardio Queen workout bra. That one is going to be what a lot of people were saying was great. I think it actually was the only one I didn't get a chance to try on, mainly because it wasn't in my size. It was there, it just wasn't in my size. So I tried on a few of the other tops. I loved the idea of it and I loved the style. So because of it, I'm going to show you what worked for me instead. These are my alternatives to those tops that you'll actually see me wearing and pairing with this series quite a bit throughout the video. What I opted for instead was these tops from Victoria's Secret and the VS Pink line. They are very similar, as you can see, to some of the stuff that Cassey had. It's made out of different material though. This is more of this is like a cotton polyester blend as opposed to the spandex nylon blend, so it doesn't really feel the same at all. And it's much more snatched in the waist area for me. And the V-cut was a lot more dramatic and it just accentuated everything much better. I'm a certain shaped individual and Cassie's not going to be able to get them all right, you know. I don't think that this is a problem that every girl is having, just for me in particular, because I don't have much of a bust, it just didn't work for me. Yeah, I just looked at it as a matter of practicality of if I would ever actually use those pieces, and I just didn't see myself picking them up because they were so hard to get on and off. And that is part because they are really well constructed. So something else I considered was if they're baggy at the waist, but they fit really well in the bust, why don't I just take the waist in? Normally I would do that for most tops, but because of the way these were constructed, the seams were flatly done. They were done with like a serger, I'm pretty sure, and it's a special kind of like top stitch, and I've not really done it on my serger before because I've not needed to. I don't think it's particularly hard, it's just not something I've done before. And these items are also layered. They have multiple layers and they have finished inseams and things like that. So they're just harder to take apart, or some of them just have continual straps, so they don't have separate straps. That was a big complaint I actually had with another piece. So the hits from this series was the Cardio Queen bra, based off of popular review. If I had managed to try one on, I would tell you what I thought. Other than that, the only hit that was a hit for me in this series is the Campfire Fleece jacket. I give this a 7 out of 10 in terms of construction, fit, quality, things like that. I didn't actually like it at first because of the oversized fit. This is the extra small, and I thought it looked huge on me, and I didn't know how to style it properly. The reason why I give it a 7 out of 10. So, the pros for this jacket is it actually does keep me pretty warm. I also really like the shade of lavender. I noticed that finding this kind of shade of lavender for workout jackets was kind of hard. It either was way darker and much more muted or and muddy kind of looking, or it was just like more of a generic purple. It wasn't like this beautiful soft pastel. So her color choices once again are spectacular. I was not a huge fan of the fabric choices. I do know that the Campfire fleece jacket that she has the Popflex version of this jacket, because this is basically the dupe of that. I did look up that one, and that one is mainly cotton, and I understand that's probably a cost thing, was they had to pick some material that was going to be a little bit less expensive to be able to make this one, because otherwise it's pretty much a one for one to that jacket. Outside of, it also doesn't have the drawstring features. I don't think the drawstring is particularly needed on the sleeves. I didn't find that to be very important. I think a drawstring at the bottom would have been nice, mainly just because for me, I have, smaller waist, and when I tried to do the thing where you curl it up to see how it sits, where you can have more of a cropped look, it wasn't really giving me a cropped look. But it also, yeah, it mainly looks cute open on me. Or if I do tuck it up, but it would have looked cuter tucked up if I could have pulled it tight. The fabric choices on this is it's 100% recycled polyester, and then the woven patches are 85% nylon and 15% spandex. I have been moving away from polyester in my wardrobe. I wasn't super happy about polyester, but because this is a jacket and it's not a main piece that's touching my body all the time, I decided I was okay with it, because basically my rule for my wardrobe recently has been, if it is polyester and I love it and I will wear it all the time, like this shirt actually is polyester, but I love it and I will wear it, then I will do what it takes to remove the eventual stink from it that happens, and I will, just take good care of it, launder it well, and usually hang dry these things. I don't typically throw them in the dryer. That helps reduce the microplastics that go into the water when you're not throwing everything in the dryer. You can also use a guppy bag. This is something, I'm not sponsored. I have used the guppy bag, and I found that it did catch some micro plastics pretty well. This jacket had to kind of grow on me. I originally wasn't going to keep it. I was going to return it, and I just I allowed myself to sit on it. I spent some time playing around in my wardrobe to see if it would grow on me and if I liked it. And I noticed when we had a cold snap here where I lived, that I was picking it up and going to it pretty often. And I liked wearing it, and I felt cute in it, and I felt warm. So, yeah, so it kind of grew on me. I think that eventually, if I could afford the Popflex one, the cotton one, I would opt for that instead. But for the price point, for what it is, I thought it was pretty good. So it was, I know a lot of people really, really like this one actually. The Campfire fleece jacket is one that sold out really fast. People are just kind of like saying in every video how wonderful it is. It's good. I like it. It's definitely not my favorite thing in this series, but we're going over tops first and foremost, so I just had to cover that. I will also show here more of the style of top that I typically wear when it comes to hoodies and jackets. I'm more of a cropped hoodie girl, and I have this one that's pink that's very soft, that is also a go-to for me often. The thing about the cropped hoodies, as much as they are really cute, is that my stomach does get cold. If I was going out somewhere where it snows, the cropped hoodie might not work for me. And in that case, a jacket like this that covers a little bit more, the oversized fit, I can see its viability. So yeah, my climate where I live is typically a little bit warmer, so my style is a little bit more geared towards that. And for the most part, my cropped hoodie, especially the ultra cropped ones that just cover my shoulders for sun protection, those usually do the trick for me. They're great for layering when I want to do that, so I don't need to slather myself in sunscreen all the time. So some other tops that I know did really well in this series that people liked a lot. I liked them too. I just couldn't get my hands on them because they sold out so fast. Would be the reversible bow back top. the bow top that has long sleeves, and the corset cropped bralette. That was another big favorite. I actually did try that one on in store. It just, I don't know, it was just still not quite the right fit for me. So even though I did like it, it more or less kind of inspired me to figure out how I could have that look in my wardrobe, but one that like fit me a little bit better. So yeah, those were a lot of the top favorites that people reviewed and said that they enjoyed. Next up, we're going to talk about skirts in this series. There was a few of them. From the skirts that were available, I went for the Ballerina Skort. I've been wanting that thing in steel blue for 2 years. And the pirouette Skort in steel blue was always sold out on the Popflex website. I tried to like keep an eye on it for when there was like a sale or like when it restocked. And it was just kind of, I just wasn't quick enough, and I don't want to be obsessing over a website. I already am working on my shopping addiction issues. So therefore, I really wanted to shop smarter as opposed to shopping like a maniac. When I saw this, first of all, in my local Target, it was the last one. It was only day 3. And so I tried it on and I felt a level of relief I cannot explain. It was so satisfying. I actually do believe that I like the waist on this better than the pirouette Skort. I like the idea of being able to have the cinch waist on the pirouette Skort, but this crisscross waistband works really well for me and it looks really good with my body type. Pros of this would definitely be, once again, the color choice. The design elements here, this crisscross waistband, the fit, the pockets, the nice deep pockets on both sides, the front not having an annoying seam, which was great as well. And I really would have bought this skirt in every color, but I kind of realized that in my wardrobe I could create a similar look with some of my other skirts because I have some other like double tiered skirts that I wear more casually. So that was the big reason. And then 2 is also just it's cost, might as well go with my favorite as opposed to just getting all of them. So I opted for just this one, and then I have some other skirts that I will wear a pair of removable shorts that have a pocket that gives me that ability to wear them like a workout little skort, but it's not a skort. So that's me trying to just also appreciate my own wardrobe a little bit better, and this piece inspired me to do that. So the cons of this skort would be the mesh that was used for the actual skirt part itself. I did see some reviews. Unfortunately, all I have is my Google reviews left to be able to get to. I can't pull up the images after people had washed them anymore on the Target's website, but people had shown that when they had thrown the skirt in the wash, that there was some fraying, and they were really sad about that the elastic was basically fraying out of the bottom or on parts of the skirt and the mesh part. So that is not great. I have already washed this twice, and there's some very minimal elastic fraying that I'm going to show here on the side that did appear. I'm not 100% sure how other people are washing these things. I already use a very gentle approach because I'm very well versed in laundering, and I always would rather play it safe with my clothing because I've had some incidences of things happen. So when I washed this, I threw it in a delicates bag, and then I threw that inside of another delicates bag, and I washed it on delicates. So it was washed on cold with a light setting, basically. And then I did not throw it in the dryer. I think because of the elastic fraying, when I saw that review, it indicated to me this item should not go in the dryer. So I actually hang dried it. And that's, I think, part of how this piece can have some longevity. In general, I would say to Cassey that a slightly different performance mesh might be better for the skirt. As much as it is very soft, I did go to my local Joann's and found one that was pretty similar that I think it's probably the same kind of one she used. I found another one that was not as stretchy, but it was definitely not going to have any of that elastic fraying issues, and that was similarly priced at Joann's. And I don't think that she gets her stuff from Joann's, but that being said, manufacturing wise, you know, it made me kind of realize, like, if I can find it at my local store, she could look for a different mesh blend for a similar price point. So that would be my only criticism, because everything about this is wonderful. Critique that I have about this piece was actually on the tag. It says tired mesh skirt. A reviewer had pointed this out. I thought it was hilarious, actually, once I saw this. I didn't even notice it at first. But that's more on the design team for the packaging, that no one cross-checked this. It does indicate to me that this series was kind of rushed. It makes sense. It was probably rushed due to the fact that dropping it at the start of the new year, when most people's resolutions are to work out, was like, you know, they had a deadline they wanted to reach. So it makes sense. But yeah, so tired mesh skirt. It's funny more than anything. The other skirt that was in this collection was a slit skirt. It had like a little slit on the side. The thing about the slits on these skirts in this series, I was not super impressed with them on the dresses. So I didn't really care for the look on the skirt. The skirts also didn't have much flare on the dresses, so I didn't think that the skirt version of that was going to have the flare that I wanted, so I just didn't opt for that skirt. It seemed to do well with people. People did seem to like it. All right, so next up we're going to move into bottoms. I did get quite a few bottoms from this collection, so I'm going to show you all of the bottoms that I got. I didn't think that I would love the bottoms so much from this series, but I did, and I ended up getting 5 of the bottoms from this series, so let's just get into it. So first up, this was a favorite, a beloved favorite that a lot of people really liked. I put these on my Pinterest wish list before I realized the craze that was going to be about these pants. This is the travel trouser. Okay, I know y'all like to have your cozy fit, and that's probably why the sweatpants were so popular, but damn, let me tell you, this sold out like really fast. Trying to find these in my size was very hard. I needed some casual wear, some athleisure. I ended up getting the extra small and the small. The extra small does fit a little bit better than the small. But yeah, I got them in both the blue and I got them in the gray. Some people had said in reviews that they feel different. This is true. The gray is softer than the blue. That being said, I wear these quite a bit, and some girls had said that the pants were getting some pilling in the reviews on the Target's original website. And I did actually notice that, yes, with the gray, the softer one, it's starting to get some pilling, and that's with me doing some very careful washing with them. I think it's because it's a 53% cotton and a 47% recycled polyester blend. I was not super happy about this. So I give these pants a 9 out of 10. My pros being that they are super soft and comfy and warm on the inside. They are fleece lined. The design is really lovely. The pin tucks down the front. It's kind of a unique thing to see on sweatpants. The wide leg factor is actually also really nice. The ratio typically for wide leg pants is not great when it comes to sweatpants. They'll either be too short often or they're not wide enough. So these really hit on both those fronts, as well as it does make your booty look pretty nice for being oversized of a fit. It is a versatile piece too, which is why I give it this rating. While I do like the softness of the gray, I like the blue much better. These do not have as much pilling at all on them. They're just a little bit thicker. So, and I really love this steel blue color. So you're going to see this a lot in my in my review. Yeah, the only con that I have would be the slight pilling and the fabric makeup. I actually do think that something could have been done here, and I notice things that tend to be more of like 70% cotton and 30% polyester hold up better. So just a slightly higher cotton amount would have probably made this like not a non-issue. The next one I got is the crisscross flare pants. I got these in both colors because I loved them so much. Other people would not agree so much about these. I heard some mixed reviews on them. I do not agree. I personally love them. They work really well for me. I give these a 9 out of 10. The first ones I got were the green ones. I tried them on and was shocked that the extra small was so tight on me. So I opted to get the small. It's weird because the extra small for the skirt was just right, But with these, it was squeezing me in the thighs and in the knees too much. I also wonder if some people's reviews are based around like knowing how to fit things on themselves, as well as I'm not exactly sure if maybe some of the items in the store were getting more wear and tear and pull on them than they would if someone had just bought it and then tried it on at home. That being said, it is workout wear, so it should hold its shape if it's getting some pullings, lots of people trying it on. So that is something to note. So yeah, I got the green ones first. I love the color. I love the slit along the flare pant leg. In general, the reason why I love these so much is one, it makes my booty look amazing, and the waist area does look really good. I have a big problem with waists being kind of oversized on me, and I'm always taking in the waist on my pants and like things like that. And then the other thing is that most workout pants are the skinny leg fit, the leggings fit, and I hate that. I don't like wrestling to get my ankles out of those things. I also don't think that it looks very nice. I used to work a job where I had to wear those all the time, and I hated peeling them off every night. These were great in the way that the flare just made me feel like really free at the ankle, and it also, I feel like it added to the accentuating of my shape between it being very booty hugging and then it flaring out underneath the knee area. Cassie's really got something there when it comes to where to put the flare. As much as this might not be everyone's favorite, it's a win for me, which is why I also got it in black. The pros would be the color, the cut, and also I noticed when I work out in these, they do not slide down. They do not give me much problems. Sometimes when I first pull them on, I go ahead and adjust the waistband so it sits nicely. But once I've adjusted it, for the most part, that's where it stays. And I've gone to the gym in these. I've lifted weights. I moved in these. I moved recently, and I was doing a lot that day, and they did not slide down. Some other girls had said in their reviews that they had felt like these had slid down on them. So I don't know. That might be a size thing. It might be a body shape thing. So I can't really speak for that. For me, I can just say they did not slide down. They fit wonderfully, and I was very happy that they didn't. The only con I could really note about them is, well, there's two. One, yeah, I've washed these, I've laundered these a few times, and it does seem like the fabric is looking a little bit, not like it's got pilling, but it does look a little bit more rough now on the green. And on the black, I noticed that this picks up hair like crazy. So I have two cats. You can definitely see hair on these because of the fabric choice, which is 75% nylon and 25% spandex. In general, I'm glad these are not polyester because I think the stink factor would be much higher on them. They do not seemingly hold smell at all, not yet at least, with the amounts of wearing and washing that I've experienced. So I just have to give these little babies a lint roll sometimes if I'm wearing the black ones, and the green ones, you don't see the lint on them particularly. So that was something I kept in mind when it came to buying black colored pieces in this series. It was just something I needed to note. All right, so these are my alternative recommendations for tops. If you also noticed that the Blogilates tops were not working for you, whether that was because of that built-in bra, if it was just too tight on you, or if you noticed like the waist was just a little too baggy for you. These are the tops that I got. I got the Victoria's Secret tops. Ooh, my chair is, I gotta get it fixed. The Victoria's Secret and the VS Pink corset tops, I got it in pink. I pretty much got it in almost every color because once again, these pieces are really versatile. I can wear them casually. I can dress them up, or I can wear them for working out. Yep, the black one. In general, the colors were very similar to the Blogilates line, so that made it really easy for me to be able to mix and match these in. I'm not sure if that was intentional, if somehow Victoria's Secret was aware about the series, but it definitely felt like that when I walked in there. I mean, I think the green is literally the same color. I also got this Colsey top from Target. It's not as thick, and it's a little bit more sheer, but it is cute. It has a similar reminiscent feel and design. Very similar green. See? I don't know if I would go monochromatic though. I'm not a monochromatic kind of girl. Last up on the bottoms list that I got, these cute ruffle shorts. I originally tried them on in the store. I tried on the size small, the pink ones actually. They felt a bit bubblegummy pink for me, even though it was a more soft muted pink. So I wasn't completely sold on it because I have a pair of little pink shorts that I like to wear that are already like workout shorts kind of. in my wardrobe, so I just didn't want too many things to look similar. But I did need a new pair of black ones, so I went for these because I tried on the size small, and I noted the thing about how the thighs felt the correct amount of tightness. I didn't really want to get these in an extra small. They were also kind of hard to find in the extra small. I think this was a favorite for a lot of people, like a big time favorite. I give these an 8 out of 10. And it would have been a 9 out of 10, but the waistband, when I slipped the small on, was kind of weird in the way that it was kind of oversized and it wasn't hugging my waist. So this was a little disappointing for me. And what I ended up doing was putting my own little drawstring in the center right here of the workout shorts. And then this pretty much fixed the issue. I took some inspiration from the travel trousers. I really like that style of drawstring pants where it has it has like a channel sewn in. So I went ahead and did that. I put a little channel, and then I had an extra little drawstring. It just happened to have one laying around. And now these fit great. So that's a nice little quick hack that you can do. This was definitely a hit for me, with that one exception of needing that tweak. This was overall still a great piece, and the outer material, even though it is black, doesn't get as much hair on it as the inner material, which is the same as the flares. So I do like that as well. So yeah, these are great. All right, next up we're gonna go into the dresses, which ones were hits for this series. So the dresses that I thought were a big hit overall would be the Romance Run dress. I got this one in an extra small, and for the most part I give it an 8 out of 10 when it comes to the dresses. I really liked this one. So the pros that I thought for this one that were there was the cut was really good. They did not put that built-in bra, which also was really good. I think this is why it was a big hit for a lot of people. That built-in shelf bra was kind of a hit or miss. In general, everything looked better when I put bra pads in, so keep that in mind when I'm starting to show you the dresses, as well as the jumpsuits and things like that. They all look better with the bra pads. I do believe that the original models were probably wearing bra pads in the photos. So if you tried this on and you kind of felt like it didn't look great, it was probably because it needed those bra pads. They didn't come with them. I like that Cassey put the little holes so you can put them in yourself. I actually think if she had made or designed her own bra pads, but they were in the Blogilates section, this would have like revealed to girls more like, oh, I should probably buy these. The convenience aspect would have been there, which would have been good, instead of realizing later, like, I need to order some bra pads and going online and getting them or something. Weirdly, I had just enough bra pads from like all of my weird sewing things over the years and from other bras that I just don't always use bra pads in. I had enough of them just laying around. I put a pair in every single one of my dresses. So I didn't need to buy any bra pads. I was very happy about that. Some pros for this would definitely be the color choices. The pink is a little bubblegummy, but it is cute. I like it. The thick straps were also a really good choice. A lot of people, I think, liked this piece because the other dresses and the jumpsuits do not have these thick straps, and that ended up really working out, I think, especially if people wanted a little bit more support. One of the bralettes actually had a big problem of having straps that were too wide. They were kind of falling off the shoulders. It was the one with the crisscross back. And that's basically a very similar problem with all of the other dresses that have the thinner straps. They're kind of widely set, and I understand it gives it like a ballerina feel. But I'm going to go into, as a seamstress, what I think would have been a better way to still keep the ballerina feel but not have the straps falling off your shoulders. These did not fall off my shoulders at all. It gave me really great looking bust and a very nice figure. The size up, the small, did not. It actually was not very figure hugging on the back. It was a little too big and baggy. The twirl factor was great on this, so I tried twirling in it. The slit was also nice. It looked pretty. It was pretty even. The shorts underneath some people were saying they were a bit short. They didn't like that. I personally thought that the shortness was fine. I felt like they were a bit tight. So when I was doing some yoga in them, I did notice that they were rolling up a bit, but they only really rolled up when I had like a lot of stuff in my pockets, like I had my keys and like my phone in my pockets. So I would need to try it again without a bunch of stuff in my pockets. This one was a big hit for me, so I did get it in 2 different colors. I knew I would wear it in multiple colors. I didn't really want the black because of the fabric holding the hair on it as much, so I didn't opt for that. Overall, I did think that this was pretty good. My only cons with it was that it could have been maybe slightly more flared, slightly more hip figure hugging, but it wasn't so much that I would even really alter it. The other reason why I think a lot of people liked it, and myself included, is that it was very easy to get on and off because it didn't have that built-in bra. That's something else to keep in mind. The built-in shelf bra, I think, ruined a lot of things for the other pieces in the series where they really could have been hits, but just design-wise, it made it really tricky to get in and out of the pieces. The other thing is I think I would have liked to see this piece in more colors. I really liked that the steel blue or like a periwinkle purple would have been really nice, or the white. There wasn't enough pieces in that cream white color in the series, in my opinion. So I know that this review is mainly about design, so I'm focusing mainly on the clothing pieces, but I am going to do a little sidebar here and talk about the accessories from this series that were also a hit for me. So the first one would be the puffer backpack in lavender. I did get the original one that's in silver as well, that is slightly smaller. I actually love both of these. It's really hard actually to decide which one I like better. I think some level of traveling with them will really inform me if the amount of space is necessary for the larger one as opposed to the smaller one. I also thought that the silver one was a little bit softer, and it might be because I did wash it, and maybe the lavender one would soften up over time as well if it was washed. I give both of them an 8 out of 10. Construction-wise, I can see the areas that Cassey did improve on the lavender bag, such as the reinforced area where you open the top, the button area, and then the added zipper part at the bottom for shoes was great, as well as on the straps there's more areas to hang hats or clip other accessories. I thought that was great. I also did like that the bags seemed to be the correct size for flying. They do squish down, so if you're deciding to take it as a personal item, you could get away with it, in my opinion, and you can fit things like a laptop, tablet in there, as well as strap a yoga mat on the back. Wild. Yeah, when I saw that, I could see how it was beneficial. The other item that I thought was a big win was the water bottle sling. I got this one in the steel blue color. I give it a 9 out of 10. This is an amazing accessory. It is not quite like a purse, which is why I like it. And that's because when I go somewhere, if I'm hiking, if I'm working out, if I'm just doing something more casual, I can't really carry my water in my purse. It can't sit upright. And so the water bottle sling is kind of like a mini purse in that way. I've been able to fit my workout gloves, my water, a snack, my phone, my wallet, my keys, my earbuds. Yeah, all of that in this little tiny bag. So very impressed with it. I like that it's insulated as well on the inside, and the drawstring at the top is also really nice. And of course, color-wise, it goes great with everything else in the series. It has such a nice, cute little ruffle, just details and things like that. So I definitely recommend the water bottle sling. And lastly would be the yoga mat and band set. Now this was not released with this new Blogilates series. This was like something that was just already a Target from her previous line. It's good so far. I wish the yoga mat was a little bit thicker, which I do believe Cassey has already worked on. That con is really not anything that I'm saying Cassey needs to do better on next time, because this is from the old series. So yeah, that was just something I wanted to touch on. So next I'm going to do basically a top performers, which is just in short, I'm going to explain this is pretty much what everyone liked in this series, regardless of my personal opinion. So it seems like the consensus was that everyone liked the travel sweatpants, the Campfire fleece jacket, the marshmallow hoodie, the Twirl Skort, and the reversible bow top. The mid-performers were the Cardio Queen top, the long sleeve bow top, Romance Run, flare leggings, and the corset crop top. So next up, we're gonna move into what did not work, what was the total flops for this line, and what I think how they could have been done better and how they could have been executed on better. I've even altered some of these pieces, so stick around to see what I did to them in part 2 of this 2-part video series. And this will also include me taking what I believe is the biggest flop in this entire line and turning it into what I think is going to be the most beloved piece. So yes, thank you for sticking with me through part 1. If you like this series, please subscribe and like. It really helps my channel out. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. All right. Bop, 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 bop.